Kelvin Mangana.
Cool.
What's the original story of Mangana? And that's
It's a coded name.
I
just over behind the scenes.
Mangana. I gave him the name Mangana. He's called Mangana, Man 99. Speaking of which, guys, this afternoon I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw a photo actually of Vinicius Jr.'s girlfriend, his partner. Turns out she's a TV personality, so she's a TV show host.
Okay.
And she kissed someone live on TV. Kissed someone on live TV. Then guess what? So they posted that thing on Instagram, and Vinicius went under to comment, and basically, was full of positivity.
Best.
I wish I could. Let me see if I can pull it up and read his comment. I'll probably send it to our page. But here's the thing:
put me down.
I'm not woke enough to really support this. I can't. I'm like, no. Think about it, Kelvin. You go on Instagram. Your significant other is a TV show host. And then. Turns out, she kisses someone on live TV and then it's posted on Instagram. How would you react?
One of those situations where
this one is crazy.
Because of what he's gone through this week, that's the best way to respond. You deal with it behind the scenes if there's something to deal with, but you don't have to show weakness. So you just have to, respond in a way that people can't throw you on.
No, he actually goes and posts a hat. Vinicius posts a hat under it.
Yeah.
I'm not woke enough. I'm sending it to you guys. Take a look and let me know what you think. I'm not woke enough.
Oh yeah, but if you see this picture, you can see that it's one of those things. It's for the cameras,
right?
But Charlie, these players need to be careful. So you see, Anthony. I remember one time when Anthony was being approached by the girl who had issues.
Yeah,
right.
Is it mentally or physically or medically not really fit? I think that is better. He decided to just escape it because, Charlie, people take things differently. They interpret things differently, and they will tell you interpretation lies in the preserve of the interpreter, not what.
Honestly, it's very, very subjective.
Yeah.
It's very, very subjective.
Yeah, so there are times they need to be careful. Maybe you may be doing things you think I am helping, I am doing this, but people will interpret it. It's like you writing your 6. Someone on the other side will just see it and say that, oh, you've written
it's
9.
Yeah,
Charlie,
it's true. Even lateral inversion can convert it. But I have a question. A lot of people have been asking me about this Fantasy Premier League. So today we want to show credibility that we all participate in Fantasy Premier League, and before and as part of that, we'll tell our score. So we'll start with Mangana. Pull up your Fantasy Premier League. Tell us your total points.
You want start plus chairman?
Tell us your total points this year.
So
tell us, yes.
The team. I'm worrying for improvement.
Let's see how much you've improved.
They play. Total points.
Yes.
1,521.
Ghana with 1,521. Fantastic.
Yeah. They play
fantastic. Kelvin, tell us.
You people want to laugh at me. Well, I have 1,391. Game week 27, I had 38 points. Maybe
fantastic.
We don't hear your own.
Guys, I have 1,620. Pipe down.
You didn't figure.
Pipe down.
Where you go still the 20 from?
Pipe down. A couple of years ago, 2016, I topped Ghana on match day week 1.
And that was it.
No, I think it was match day week 2, actually. Week 2.
And that was the highlight of your FPL career.
My friend, listen, you have to record all the successes. You have no idea. It might not repeat itself. You know what? We've had enough of the banter. We have a lot to talk about. Kelvin, what's up?
Hey, guys, let's have a very good time. Well, it's been an exciting weekend. Yes, last weekend wasn't good for me, but you guys, this weekend was quite good. And the week has been very much exciting. Welcome back to the 50-50 Football Podcast, where we bring you the beautiful game from every angle. My name is Kelvin Oswans, and trust me, you do not want to skip this episode. I'm doing this with Kwaku Zafo-Mensah and Nana Sari. Yes, the topics are hitting different this week. First up, we are asking the question that gets every football fan arguing. who is the best passer you have ever seen, watched, or witnessed in football. Yes, what you have seen and know what people you have listened to. What you have seen. Well, we are also talking thread and needle, splitting defenses and vision from another planet. We've got names, we've got debate, and we are not going to hold back. All the three of us have our own choice. Then it's Champions League knockout stage time. The nights are here. The drama is real. We are breaking down everything you need to know about, yes, who is flying and who's crashing out of Europe's biggest stages ahead of the big games that we expect ahead of the draw on Friday, and also close it out with Premier League drama, La Liga and the Italian Serie A. In the French League, there are also lots to talk about. Arsenal take on Chelsea in another London derby after beating Tottenham Hotspur, and everything would be on the line for Manchester United. They face Crystal Palace in a clash that could define both club seasons. For United, this is one they need to win to get up to the top. So buckle up as we have an exciting show for you here on the 50-50 Football Podcast. Well, so guys, yes, it's been an exciting week. But first of all, you know, what has been your headline from all the stories? I think one thing has caught my attention. The member associations, president for FIFA, they've all been turned into, I don't know whether they are journalists or content creators or hosts of shows or presenters. All of them are doing a video to speak about Gianni Infantino's reign. It's quite surprising. That has been my highlight, though. Bro, it started popping out from yesterday.
Proper social media campaign.
Charlie. Did you see
I saw Keto Kreku.
His journalistic instincts have been brought out.
I call him brother, not president. Charlie, I respect. He's playing the politics of FIFA. I understand him. If you want to go higher, listen. And this is something that each of us can. I would say it's free advice. We are giving free game. Mentorship is great. You need a mentor, all that. But sponsorship, if you have someone who will sponsor you, literally hold your hand and pull you up. That's the best thing you ever need. I think in Kumasi there's a saying: "A foot will be anywhere. Me what for say chekakra."
You can crash on.
Listen, you should panda for it. Keto Kreku should panda for it, and then he's doing the right thing.
I think he's
doing the right thing. Well, let's get into, the discussion. Yes, proper, but I know we'll save the best for the last on the debate. But gentlemen, let's quickly begin from, what happened earlier this week in the UEFA Champions League knockout stage. Real Madrid had to do the money to make that progression into the next stage of the competition. Vinicius Jr. once again coming to the party. Juventus were quite unlucky, making it 5-5 on aggregate before extra time, but in extra time, they capitulated. Many are talking about officiating decisions. Well, it was once again another exciting night. Bodo Glimt from the northern part of Norway. Come on. Phenomenal year it's been for them. This is a club that got promoted into top flight football just in 2010, and they are already 10 in heads. Atletico Madrid came to the party, but for Borussia Dortmund, come on, what Atalanta did to them, I don't know. Atalanta saving the face of Italian football. A lot to talk about. But gentlemen, quickly, what are your picks of the night, and which results shocked you and surprised you before we come to the possible options for the clubs ahead of the draw? Starting with you, Nana Sari.
Yeah, I think the Bodo Glimt results, it wasn't shocking. It was shocking over the two legs, because going into that fixture in the first leg, I'm sure we all thought Inter were going to just turn Bodo Glimt over, and then it was going to be an easy breezy win for Inter to get into the next round. Probably like a shortcut for them not being able to make it into the initial first 8 automatic qualification. But Bodo Glimt showed impressive footballing ability and a good tactical acumen to be able to overturn them in the first leg by 3-0, and to do it at the Italian Giants' home and win 2-1 just shows how far Bodo Glimt have come. When it comes to the Champions League, I remember when they came into the Champions League, I think for the first couple of times they entered, they hadn't even won a game or even scored or even gotten a point. But they've done so well this season, and they've done so well by 10 over Inter. I just want to see how well their story is going to end. That was definitely my pick of the UCL this week.
Kelvin, so for me, I think the first leg score wasn't a big surprise for me when Bodo beat Inter over there in Bodo, right? I wasn't surprised because if you look at the teams that have lost over there, the eye-opening one was when Mourinho lost 6-1 with AS Roma a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago. He went away to Bodo Glimt and he lost 6-1 in the UEFA Conference League first leg. I think it was a group stage, if I'm not mistaken, at the time. He lost 6-1. He made a number of changes to his team. It was an entirely new squad to his team. Afnajan and the rest, they played that game. And they lost 6-1. And he was so furious. And then they got to the knockout stages. I think it was the quarters. I think it was a quarterfinal. Went away and lost 2-1 again to Bodo Glimt. It wasn't until the return leg at the Olympico. That's when they beat them to qualify to the semifinals, where they met Leicester and then before they went on to win the trophies. The first leg's results didn't surprise me at all. I mean, this season, they've beaten Manchester City over there as well. So I wasn't surprised. However, it's the second leg results to come to the Giuseppe Meazza and beat Inter Milan. Inter Milan with Bastoni, with Sommer imposed, with Henrik Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, Lautaro Martinez leading the attack, and still scoring 2 goals. They led 2-0 before Bastoni got the consolation for Inter Milan. So that was a huge surprise for me. And then, what happened at the J Stadium, Juventus? It felt as though we were watching Juventus playing at the Stadio dell'Api back in the days, like early 2000s, late 90s Champions League with Edgar Davies and co. Because Juventus played well in the first half. It was just 1-0. However, when they were shown the red card, they played 6 times above their level, getting 2 goals, forcing the game into extra time, and eventually, quality of the Galatasaray attack decided the game. And, one thing that I was thinking about when watching the game was that the attackers, or the 2 attackers leading the line for Galatasaray perhaps should be the ones leading the line for Juventus. And then the Juve attackers should be leading the line for Galatasaray. Because in what world would you have Jonathan Davis leading the line for Juventus and then Osimhen and Icardi on the other side for Galatasaray? Even Sani on the bench, Noah Lang playing. It's weird. It's interesting.
That game was very, very interesting. Like it was a high intense game, especially in the second half. And I think Juventus did as much as they could with 10 men, but it was always going to be untenable with 10 men going through extra time. With the kind of firepower Galatasaray have in Osimhen.
Exactly.
I was actually expecting Osimhen to have got more than the goal that he got. Like, I was expecting him to have done more. Because when if you look at the posture of the Galatasaray players, when it went to extra time, you could tell like they felt like we should have killed this already. This shouldn't have gotten here.
Yeah, they felt, they shouldn't be down by 3-0. Lose the game by lose 2-1, lose 2-0, because you had a 5-2 advantage going to the J Stadium, right? And then they were down, to 10 men. So how do you lose 3-0 in regulation time? And it's a mentality thing. And Osimhen's comments after the game, I wasn't too pleased. He's saying that some of the players were timid. I don't think you should throw your players under the bus that way. Of course, don't say the players were timid. It's all about framing. You can say the atmosphere was intimidating.
Yeah, okay, the lights were definitely
but let's be honest. Some of the players, I don't know whether they chicken out or something. Look at the mistakes Torreira was making. Look at the fouls he was committing.
You are getting PTSD from Torreira's time at Arsenal.
No. By yesterday, you could see he nearly cost the team. And I think I side with him. He should be hard on them. Some of the players, unless maybe there is something I don't know. But sincerely, were you pleased with the output, letting Juventus come into the game?
So, you see, that's the thing. Galatasaray, they don't have a good record in the UCL. I think I mentioned it last week on the pod. They've been very poor UCL campaigners. This is probably the first time in years that they've qualified to the knockout stage of the UCL. So I was surprised that they actually beat Juventus 5-2 at home. Coming to the J Stadium, I knew they would lose the game, but I didn't think Juventus would have enough to qualify. So seeing them losing 3-0, 10 men, I'm like, okay, what's happening? Right? So maybe to your point, at 10 men, they should do better. At 10 men, they should find some motivation to fight and end the game in 90 minutes. But, again, they were playing Juventus. Let's not take anything away from it's Juventus. The name alone carries a lot of weight.
Yeah. And I said that sometimes you have to take account of the atmosphere and the intensity, because you are playing away from home. You are just trying to keep the results that you already have in the first leg, trying not to make mistakes. but you are playing against a team that has like the kind of support, the fans, the crowd is behind them, the noise, and you are also a team that has constantly, fallen at the final hurdle to make a qualification. So those things kind of play on your mind. And when those intense atmosphere and then the Juventus players are playing without any fear, even though they were down to 10 men, it can't get the opposition team into their shell a bit. And I think that was what happened to the Galatasaray players, because they felt like they were in definitely the opposition's camp, because they were in enemy territory and they were behind the lines and they just couldn't see a way out till Osimhen got that winner.
Right. And then Icardi, hit the last nail in the coffin. So took them on and see how he celebrated.
Just their misbehavior, the kind of recruitment and stuff they are doing. It doesn't really make any sense at certain points.
I think Italian football has really taken a hit, and it's been on a downward spiral for a while, for a long time. At this point, they seem to have little to no light at the end of the tunnel as to when they are going to get good again, because they keep selling the best players that they have, and they are not producing as in any better players.
So Mangana, do you mean the Italian national team or Italian football as like a league? Like, I want to understand.
I mean,
because the Italian as a league, they would come to you and tell you, no, we had AC Milan and Inter Milan playing in the semi-finals of the Champions League just a few years ago.
Yes, and even Inter finished.
They were in the finals.
Yeah.
In the finals, 2 finals in 3 years, right?
Exactly.
2 in 3 or 2 in 4, yeah. So
I don't think they are down like that. Maybe
it's
the national team that is not pulling.
And that's fine. Like, we always have Bayern Munich in the latter stages of the Champions League every time. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean the Bundesliga is good.
It is.
It doesn't mean that it's better as compared to
the likes of Dortmund and the likes are getting in there almost every now and then.
So, as compared to the other leagues, because some.
So Mangana, when you get into the league conversation here now, it's like EPL is obviously doing way better than every other league because of the finances, the commercial muscle or the economic muscle of the teams.
Premier League,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the teams that even get relegated make more money than the teams that win.
Yes, in Spain and other leagues.
Italian leagues, exactly. So that's another conversation to be had, and perhaps it's the reason why transfer fees have been, bloating for the past couple of years, because they have so much money, they essentially don't know what to do with it. They just spend it anyhow. So, I mean, that's another conversation, a kind of worms we can open and get into. However, I think it was poetic that Vinicius Jr. was the one that basically, he was the difference maker. He decided the game exactly.
Yeah.
It was just poetic.
It was good on him. It was good on him.
It was just poetic for him.
Just for his confidence and just for the narrative as well. It was good that he decided the game and he was able to do the same celebration that he wanted to do this time without all the furor and backlash. So it was good. It was definitely good for him.
Yeah.
But certainly, and I think my pick, I would want to speak about, what Bodo Glimt, great to look at.
It's remarkable.
You look at the players. You look at the players, they are so confident on the ball. They have that technical skill. I don't know when Norwegian football. So I've always said that when you are a Ghanaian player and you are looking for a place to develop, look at, the Scandinavian region.
Indian countries.
Denmark, Norway. Just be looking at those places. I mean, go and get yourself better, because I don't know what they are doing right there that is getting them the kind of results, the kind of quality that they have right now.
Some of the interplay in the game was insane.
Yeah.
Some of the interplay some of the build-up play was absolutely beautiful.
And they are so calm. They are so calm with what they do, not in a rush to do it.
Mm-hmm. I think the trick over there is that they allow youngsters to play, right? So over there, it's not like mainstream Europe where big teams are, there's pressure on big teams to win, and big teams have to bring in experienced players, or they need to bring in ready.
Even if you're a kid, expect you to be already made. You are ready to go.
Exactly. But in those places, kids are allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah, they're allowed to develop.
They're allowed to develop, and they allow kids to play.
Exactly.
And it was the same in Italy. And it takes me back to the Italian football conversation. It was the same in Italy a couple of years ago. You realize that after the under-20s, this guy came out. What's his name? And after the under-20s, it wasn't 91 or something. That's when Del Piero came out. And then he was playing second fiddle to Roberto Baggio. At Juventus. Yeah, come on for that. Yeah. But, on the light, but, the point I'm trying to make is that they allowed youngsters to play. Now, youngsters don't get a chance to play anymore, especially in the big teams, right? Youngsters don't get a chance to play anymore. It's not the case anymore. So the Norwegians allowed that to happen, and they are reaping the benefits in terms of their Bodo Glimt doing well. I'll caution you, don't go. That doesn't mean you should go and scout Norway for Norwegian players who went to buy Solbakken. He used to play for Bodo Glimt. He was their star man. And they went to buy Solbakken under Moreno. The way he shine.
I mean, when you are going to get a player from any of these leagues or these teams, you have to definitely do your due diligence when it comes to whether the player is good because of the system or the player is good technically. Because sometimes there are some players who benefit from the system, and when they benefit, their output is so great, you might think that, okay, if I bring this into my team, I will get that same level of output. But you don't have that same system that they play that enhances the ability of those kinds of players. Those players, anytime they go outside, it's like, they then become very, very average or below average players, and then their career just goes downhill from there.
Well, I think credit should go to the coach, to Jetil Newton. So not the Asante Kotoko, Jetil Zachariasen. This is Jetil Newton, a 57-year-old who took over the team in 2018, and he has delivered 4 titles in, the Norwegian league. Let's not forget that in Norway, the teams from the north were struggling to even play in their league, all because of the harsh weather conditions. It got icy and trips in and around for clubs to even visit and play football. But, they've gone beyond, those boundaries. And as a team that, commits numbers aggressively to the game. And I'm like, come on, this manager on the discipline and the kind of adaptability they've had on the European stage is crazy. Variations kicking in, beating teams right, left, center, and they could possibly be meeting Manchester City. But let's take a quick look at the teams.
I just wanted to wrap this up by saying, let's not underestimate the advantage that they have playing up there in the North Pole.
Yeah,
basically in the Arctic Circle over there. Yeah, let's not underestimate the advantage, because you can't even grow natural grass over there.
No, so not at all. That's why they use the
artificial pitch.
Yes,
and it's different. They know that better, and they understand
the advantage they have there.
Koku,
the advantage they have there when they come into, the favorite. When they come to, let's say, from Norway to Italy, there should be a disadvantage for them when they come to the AT. But they are still getting the right result, and
they went away to beat.
Their game plan does not change, and it's cool enough for a club, north of the Arctic Circle that keeps getting bigger on the bigger stage. Now let's look at the teams who have qualified: Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, then FC Barcelona. There is Galatasaray, there is Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, there is Real Madrid, Sporting Club Portugal, Manchester City, there is Atalanta, Arsenal, FC Bayern Munich, Newcastle United, Chelsea, and then FC Barcelona, all still in there. So Atletico Madrid, there is Bodo Glimt, and then Bayer Leverkusen. Let's take a quick look at the possible options of the teams that could face each other. So, let's get into it. And for the first possible group, match that could happen in the round of 16. PSG could meet Barcelona or Chelsea, same as Newcastle could meet Barcelona or Chelsea. Well, could you fancy PSG Barca game or PSG Chelsea match?
You know the interesting thing?
No, tell me.
Luis Enrique says he wants to meet Chelsea.
Wow, because the last team at the club World Cup.
He needs to get his leg back.
But he shouldn't forget his team is not. He shouldn't forget his team is not in the same group.
Exactly. They are not the same team of last year. They are not the same team of last year.
Correct. Not. The team is still called Chelsea until their name has changed. It's called Chelsea.
I think Chelsea can eliminate them when they meet. The Chelsea fans listening to me, my friends, they would be shocked hearing me saying this. But I think, and I'm sure Antonio will be turning his head and will be wondering who is speaking. It's me, it's Kweku. I think Chelsea would eliminate PSG if they should meet. The physicality that the English teams play with, it's really hard for the other European teams to match up. Really, it's really tough on the European teams. The physicality is so high, and Chelsea would likely play with Caicedo and Reece James in midfield. I think this coach prefers to play with Andre Santos, who again, he's also adapted to the physicality of the Premier League, so he will also be very intense and very physical with Caicedo in midfield.
I mean, with Chelsea's disciplinary record,
But
it tells you how physical they are.
Exactly.
Hopefully they don't play Tosin though.
But I think there's one thing. There's the one thing that we need to be clear, or I should be clear to the Chelsea fans.
Right.
Their coach is just vibes. I don't think he can do the job. He's just pure vibes.
Wait and win league first, too, before you go talk vibes matter.
No.
First of all,
I don't have to win the league
very
before
rich.
I tell Chelsea fans what is here.
Coming from an Arsenal fan.
Very, very rich. I'm the one that brings what they call a guest. Which guest did he bring into the dressing room to kind of teach them something? And then he always does some gimmicky stuff. Until you win, Charlie, everything will be a joke till you win.
I hear you people. We did here. So let's look at what do you see of Newcastle meeting any of Chelsea and then Barcelona?
Newcastle have done well in the Champions League. They play well in the Champions League, but I think Barcelona will have too much quality up front for Newcastle to be able to match them in terms of the goals that they need to win the game. Because if you look at Barcelona's front line with Lamine Yamal, they have Rafinha, Rashford, Lewandowski, like they are stacked. And all those players know the back of the net. Unfortunately, Newcastle have not found the back of the net consistently in the league, but they've done well in Europe. I just think Barcelona have too much quality in their team as compared to what Newcastle have. And to take, a tactical masterclass from Eddie Howe. A tactical masterclass from Eddie Howe to be able to stifle the attack of Barcelona and then probably go a goal or two in front and try and hold that to victory. That is the only way I see them beating Barcelona. I think they would have better chance. They will stand a better chance against Chelsea because they play them in the league. And even that, it will be difficult because when they play them in the league, their league form is not good. So it wouldn't look like a Champions League game. It will look more of like a league game where it is very attritional for them. And if they don't have their shooting boots on, as they haven't had all season, it's going to be tough. I don't see them overturning Barcelona. And I think they only have a narrow shot overturning Chelsea.
Well, let's look at the next one. There's Liverpool, Tottenham where they could play against Galatasaray, or Atletico Madrid could play any of those two. Kweku, the possible meetings, how would you look at these meetings, and which team do you think stands a greater chance of making the progression from these two pairings?
That's I think Diego Simeone will be praying for Tottenham Hotspur for a couple of reasons. I think it's lesser evil between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur also aren't in a good place now at
Absolutely
all.
terrible.
Although they're a different side in the Champions League versus the Premier League. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier. The physicality and intensity of the Premier League, when they take it out to Europe, that alone beats 50% of the teams. Even on a bad day, the physicality and the intensity alone beats 50% of teams. So yes, I think Tottenham Hotspur would do themselves a favor if they lose to Atletico Madrid so that they can focus solely on avoiding relegation in the Premier League.
I think Tottenham Hotspur.
I think that is going to be possible.
You didn't hear any word. Yeah, sorry.
For Tottenham to survive the relegation battle, it would be dependent on West Ham and Nottingham Forest dropping points, not Tottenham picking up points.
Let's see. Let's see. Wait to see on that. But Real Madrid could meet Sporting Club de Portugal or Manchester City, and Bodo Glimt could meet Manchester City or Sporting Club de Portugal. I would fancy Real Madrid or Manchester City again. I want to see them play. Do you guys
Pep
see
would
this?
fancy Bodo Glimt.
I'm actually tired of the Man City Real Madrid fixtures.
So you want Man City Bodo Glimt to play, and let's see if City.
Let's see another. Let's see a repeat. Let's see a repeat of that.
Game.
They should take City to the North Pole and let's see what's going to happen again.
Well, let's see. But if Madrid have a Sporting Lisbon, I think that they should be able to get over the line.
I think they should. I mean, there's not Sporting Lisbon of last year, but they are still doing well. They are second in the Portuguese league. Luis Suarez over there is doing really well for them as the leading marksman. But I think Real Madrid should be able to surmount that challenge.
And it's Real Madrid in the Champions League. They
Exactly.
always have a chance.
Yes, Trent Alexander-Arnold is back. I loved his attacking play, but defensively, Madrid has ruled Italy. Real Madrid.
Alexander-Arnold is an attacking fullback. His job is not to defend; it's to attack.
He must add it. He must add it to his job. It's part of the job. Now
He's a false left back.
Let's look at this. There is Atalanta. They could play Arsenal or Bayern Munich, or Bayer Leverkusen against Arsenal or Bayern Munich. Which of these sides do you think that should face Arteta and give him a real deal? Is it Atalanta or Bayern?
It's not Arteta. So that's a good one. Listen, I I would want Arsenal to face Leverkusen for a couple of reasons. I think it's an easier pathway forward for them. And I also don't want the all German knockout games now, right? Bayern Munich could figure out their path. They could perhaps play Atlanta. I think that should also be an interesting one. Calvin, I have a question. What's happening to Kamaldeen Sulemana?
I think
he was even on the bench last weekend in their Champions League game, and even Nikola Zalewski was playing ahead of him. I was like, how is Nikola Zalewski playing ahead of you?
I think it's attitude now. It's attitude now. There's nothing short of, because if you look at his skill set, he was one of the players to become the very
Tom
best.
Vernon said about him?
Yeah.
Tom Vernon said arguably he's the biggest talent he has seen come through his Right to Dream Academy.
When
I compared his
him
talent to Vinicius Jr.
When I wrote him off was when we went for the 2021 AFCON that was played in 2022 in Cameroon, and Ghana lost the first game against Morocco. The kind of response he gave and the attitude at the post-match, the mix zone,
Right.
It felt like, come on, he was doing somebody a favor, and that has been his style. So every now and then, I don't know, I've always said that he's one of the players who may probably not shine. He's lucky just to have blossomed a bit early at Rennes, and then, he got teams coming out for him.
Because, at Rennes,
the Richard Danso or Mohamed Aminu. That is him. It is
frustrating.
Attitude now. It is
so frustrating.
Now. He's lucky he's up there and he has good agents to get him, the clubs that he's getting. On any day, for me, I think he shouldn't even be up there. He has a problem. He has a problem.
I can't compared his talent to Vinicius Jr. And even at Rennes, he was the top man, and Doku was, they were on either wings, but he was the main guy. Kamaldeen Sulemana was the number. He wore the number 10 shirt for Rennes at the time. So how come Doku ends up at Manchester City, and you struggled with Sunderland, you've gone to Atlanta, you had a good period for some time in Ademola Lookman's absence.
And now the Southampton stint.
I said So he went to Southampton, he struggled until the Italian coach came in and started playing, went back to Italy with him to Atlanta, started playing in Ademola Lookman's absence. Now Ademola Lookman is gone, and Nikola Zalewski is playing ahead of you. How? I've watched Zalewski since he broke out of the Roma Academy. He's nowhere near Kamaldeen Sulemana in terms of talent. So how is he playing ahead of you? But anyway, my hope is that
talent is not enough. Talent is not enough.
That's true. I'm done with it. I think Arsenal meets Atlanta. And it's an easier path for them as well.
Now, do you share the same thoughts?
Arsenal-Atlanta will be a good game. We would expect Arsenal to win, of course, but I would prefer Arsenal-Atlanta and the German teams to meet each other. I think it would be more exciting, 2 exciting games in that sense, as opposed to, let's just get the knockout out of the way and then climb up.
Well, let's just get that out of the way and then climb up. It's going to be another exciting weekend, of football. Yes, we'll get to know the parent, and in our next edition, we'll delve a lot more into the parent from the UEFA Champions League. It's now time for us to turn our attention to the biggest games for this weekend across Europe's top leagues. Now let's quickly begin from, the Premier League, and it's always the biggest, it's always the best. And first game that, I'm sure lots will have attention, Leeds United, Manchester City at 5:30 p.m. at the Elland Road. Does any of one of you see City falling?
You see, I don't see City falling. I've told you, I said the best finisher of a league I've seen in my life is Pep Guardiola, and I'm not even a Pep Guardiola fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you now, he knows he stands a chance. He knows there's a real shot.
Did you see his celebration last week when he won?
Oh yes. He was so happy, so excited.
And that was why Arsenal also celebrated when they beat Tottenham.
Honestly, I thought you guys would draw that game. I won't lie to you.
I
thought Arsenal would draw that game.
If Arsenal
I thought Arsenal would draw that game. I won't lie to you. If Arsenal
draw that game, they should flock the whole team.
Reason being that they had a new manager. I expected a reaction from the team, right? But
Yeah, I think we all did. But one thing too is one of the most one-sided derby affairs is that derby. More often than not, Arsenal has won it multiple times consecutively with the kind of Spurs team. If Spurs had all of their players, I would have yes. But with all the players they had out, a new manager, it just didn't seem like they were going to be able to do it. But they did try though. in the beginning they
Nothing would
tried.
have happened. Nothing would have happened. Yes, so, anyone thinks that game is a foregone conclusion. Let's move on to the next game that will have lots of attention. Manchester United still unbeaten under Michael Carrick. They dropped the ball in that draw, the previous game where they had to settle for a draw. It was quite a tight game for United against Crystal Palace at the Old Trafford. I think it should be, a victory for United to consolidate their position in the top.
Yeah, I think it's a game that I expect Manchester United to win. But I do wish or expect Carrick to make a change and bring in Šeško from the beginning. I think Ahmad has been a bit off his form, even though he provides a lot when he plays in terms of covering defensively as well as giving us that width and then those 1v1s that he does to open up the pitch as well. He does well on those things, but he's lacked the output in the final third. So I think just to freshen up a bit, with Šeško coming off the bench and scoring every game, I think he should start Šeško in this game, put Mbeumo on the right, and just see how that goes. Then we still have the option of bringing Ahmad to inject more pace and then more attack and verve off the bench if need be. I think that would be the best route.
Kwaku, do you see any shockers coming from Oliver Glasner and then Crystal Palace?
I mean, they seem to have turned the corner in the last two games. They were struggling. They lost 3-2 at home to Burnley, and then they drew in the Europa League when they went away to Zrinski. They've won their last two games, including a home win against Wolves, and in the home win in the Conference League as well.
Yeah.
So they've always been like I don't want to call them a boogie side, but they'll frustrate us, but we always find a way with them, especially at Old Trafford. It was 2023, that's when they beat us 1-0 over there.
Yep. That was
that was a very painful loss. This time around, I think it will be a tough task for them, honestly. I think United would win the game. But I don't think we necessarily need to change the team or we necessarily need to bring in Šeško. I think we are fine how we are playing. I think it's fine. It's okay how we are playing. We don't need to start Šeško. It seems as though he even does better when he comes off the bench for me. So I'll go with the same team.
Don't you think with the way Crystal Palace set up in terms of how deep they are and Mbeumo up front not getting enough space in behind, don't you think Šeško would be a good kind of point of attack to be able to go route one when need be, where he can bring the ball down and bring others into play?
Asari,
still have space.
When teams play with that sort of block, you need players who can wind through and be winning, dead balls for you. Because if you put Šeško and he has limited space, he will knock the ball down, but who is going to pick the scrap?
Yes, no, so but Šeško's technical ability on the ball is not just what I'm looking at. Outside of that, his ability to play off the shoulder and him playing like a proper striker where he's always looking to make the run to the near post or the far post, especially if you remember that game where Dogu put in the cross the first time and he was just there to make that tap in. We don't get that with Mbeumo. So anytime the teams are sitting deep, it's very difficult for us to break through because when we are not able to get the ball in the final third quickly and the team is set up, they set their defense, it's very difficult for us to pick those passes. That is why I would rather have Šeško come in so that we can whip in a couple of first-time crosses where he has the advantage on the defenders over the shoulder to be able to, get those one-touch finishes.
Well, we'll wait to see. But, it's a big one on Sunday. Arsenal against Chelsea. Big one for Arteta and his men because Manchester City probably might have won or would have won their game on Saturday. And then Arsenal will be looking forward to playing against. We've looked at Chelsea and Arsenal this season. The first game they played, Chelsea, overly dominant with 10 men. Arsenal struggled to, break the lines and score a second goal. But in the Carabao Cup, they managed to, beat Chelsea twice, in there. Are we going to see the same script again? Arsenal having that dominance over Chelsea, or you think this time around Chelsea have, a better look, to disturb Arsenal's peace in looking for the Premier League title? Starting with you, Kwaku.
I knew you were going to throw this question to me. You should analyze it yourself. It's your team. You are chasing the Premier League.
So what I have seen from this Chelsea team is, if it was any other manager, I would have feared the game. But what I saw from the Carabao Cup over the two legs, and what I have seen from Liam Rosinia and, the last game that they played, doesn't give me confidence that they'll pose any threat. The only thing is they have individually better players than Tottenham Hotspur and can cause, moments of brilliance at any point in time. Talk about João Pedro. If Caicedo is in his element, he will give you that sort of performance you would want if Reece James decides to play like he did in the first leg. He's going to be wonderful. What Arsenal would have over them is that sort of control, the chemistry they have in their structure, and the consistency, and gradually players are getting their confidence back. I'm praying Arteta wouldn't go back to put Eze on the bench. I want to see players being trusted. I want to see players being given that sort of confidence to play. And if Arsenal are able to do that, if Arteta is able to do that, just like they did against Tottenham Hotspur, and then players are efficient, effective. There were moments where you just saw that Eze had to. In the last 2 games, Eze has actually broken defensive shapes because of his movement or his passing, and Gyökeres has been the beneficiary of that. Hopefully, they do that, and Odegaard, who hasn't been too fit this season, will be allowed to rest and come and impact games in the final stretch of the matches. I don't see Chelsea troubling Arsenal, especially at the Emirates. Arsenal cannot falter. And I'm just hoping Manchester City will win so that they give Arsenal that pressure. If they lose, yes, we'll wait to see if Arteta and his men can capitalize on it, where they failed several times. But I think that against Liam Rosenior, tactically not superior than Arteta, I think Arsenal should win this. That manager, I don't trust him.
It's a tricky game for you guys. So, it's a tricky game. Because here's the thing. I agree with you. The only game Liam Rosenior lost, or the only team he's lost to since he became Chelsea boss has been Arsenal, right? We agree. That's fine. You beat Chelsea home and away. However, Chelsea are coming into this game like a wounded lion. Why? Because now they're on the same points as Liverpool, and they are 3 points behind Manchester United. They know Champions League is a must for them, especially for PSR. They know they need Champions League. They need to make that extra £100 million to balance their books. They need it. They need it badly. And beyond that, even for them, the ambition, the football ambition of the club and the players themselves, they want to play in the Champions League.
And even the players you can attract.
Exactly. So for them, they need to win the game. And if you guys, I don't know, if there's any iota of complacency in you guys, you guys might draw the game. You guys might draw the game. So I'll just say, it's a tricky game. Like last week, I said Madrid going to the Pamplona to play Osasuna is a tricky game, and they went out to lose. I see this game as another tricky game as well.
Sorry, do you share the same thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a London derby, and anytime 2 heavyweights are meeting, like I say, the form always goes out the window when it comes to these games. But like I've been saying, Arsenal just need to stamp their authority when they come into these games. They don't need to try and start slow. They should be on the front foot. I think for the performances that Eze and Gyökeres put in against Spurs, like, show that confidence in those players and not try to go a bit, like, leave them let Eze play in the 10 position and allow them to go. Because if they are able to stamp the authority in the beginning of the game, they'll have the fans with them. And that when they have that support behind them and they are attacking wave after wave after wave, they will put Chelsea on the back foot. And you'll be able to close out the game even in the first half if they are clinical enough. And I think that's how Arsenal should go into every game from now to the end of the season. Every game should be a cup final for them. They should go into every game of the Premier League season like, I'm trying to kill this game in the first half. And when they do that, they will pick up more points than they would lose.
Well, it's going to be a big weekend, and hopefully we get to see what will happen. But, in the La Liga too, we can't turn our eyes off it. It's Barca against Villarreal. It's first against third. Is Barca going to drop the ball again? Now they are a point above Real Madrid.
That's another interesting game. I was thinking about it earlier today. Barca playing again, and Villarreal have been in good form. Like, let's not take anything away from them. They've been in good form. One player I love so much, whom I strongly think Man United should consider, Papi Gueye. I think Man United need to buy him alongside Tonali.
Several people have mentioned him like he's very good.
He is so, like, I would need Papi Gueye and Tonali in our midfield. I need them in our midfield next season to replace Casemiro. Hopefully they do that business. But honestly, like, it's an interesting game. Like, Barca need to approach this game with all form of seriousness, because Villarreal, they are a tough nut to crack. They are very, very tough nut to crack. Barca have had the better of the exchanges, but even last year they went away to beat Barca. They beat Barca 3-2. Just last year. And, the year before, they beat Barca 5-3. So beating Barca is nothing new to them. And guess who the manager is? So an experienced manager like Marcelino, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Thomas Partey's friend.
Thomas Partey's friend. Oh my goodness. So I listen, Barca need to be at their best. Lamine Yamal needs to be at his best. And I know Pedri is back, so that's an added bonus for the Barca fans.
Yeah, good one.
Pedri changes a lot. I feel like he's their Iniesta region. He changes a lot. So if you push me to the wall, I think Barca win, but it's going to be a slim victory, hard-fought slim victory.
Well, I'm sorry on you,
2-1.
but I don't think we should worry about Real Madrid Getafe at the Santiago Bernabeu. They should win. They should win that game on Monday.
It has to be a win. Yes, it has to be a win. Is Mbappe coming back for that game or he's out?
Mbappe is still struggling. Let's wait and see if he can pass. He can get that late fitness test. And then get into the game. But I think Abeloa, after the Champions League, made it clear that they may miss him for that Monday game too. But wait to see. I'm not sure they will be in a rush to bring him back. They think that yes, the rest of the players should be able to do their job, and then maybe going forward they see how best they can get him to come and complete the running.
Is his injury still his knee?
Yes, it's the knee problem.
Knee injuries, when they are not operated on, they are trying to just because I'm sure he's not opted to have an operation on it because of the World Cup, and it's going to be a delicate situation. He might have to sit out a lot of games just to make sure that he doesn't aggravate it or tear any of the CLs in those any of those ligaments in those knees. But it's going to be tough. He needs to make a decision on it.
Well, wait to see what sort of decision they are going to make. But there'll be some other interesting fixtures across. There is Roma Juventus, on Sunday. Yes, Roma Juve.
Big games. So there's also the Classica. There's Dortmund, Dortmund Bayern Munich.
Exactly.
Another very, very one-sided affair.
After Dortmund messing up the Champions League even last week. Actually, Rami Ben-Sebaini, so unfortunate. But, goalkeepers, I've spoken about this. Why is it that it gets to the end of games and goalkeepers or players cannot just boot the ball away? It's the reason why I'll continuously love Kolo Touré. Safety first.
Hit it to Rosie or wherever and see what happened. So, again, hopefully they're able to get over this and go into the Classica with a renewed mindset.
Who is the Classica?
I think Bayern Munich would win anyway, to be honest with you.
One-way traffic.
The only way Bayern Munich is losing is if Bayern Munich wants to lose it.
But you see, last year they couldn't beat them there. Yes, last year they actually drew. In fact, last year across both fixtures, they drew both fixtures. They drew both fixtures. And even the year before, Dortmund beat them 2-0. So again, the Classical is Germany is an interesting league, to be honest with you. They surprises everywhere. It can happen. Just that, the eventual winners would definitely be Bayern Munich 9 out of 10 times. Gun to my head, I think Bayern Munich will win the game 2-1.
Bayern Munich wins the game 2-1. That's how you want to predict?
Bayern
3-0. Arsenal.
See, I would love a draw, but I want Arsenal to at least take the title race a bit further. And if they draw, it would kill the confidence of the players. So,
I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you. 1-1.
I'm going to go for Arsenal 1-0. Even though
Arsenal 1-0.
That is
Manchester United, Crystal Palace. Koku.
United.
Koku.
3-1.
And that is how we draw curtains on this particular segment. But the biggest one is coming. Who is the best ever passer of the ball you've watched, you've witnessed, you've seen in the game of football?
I think we need parameters to this question because.
So tell us why he's your best midfielder. And if you were a coach, you select that player, that passer ahead of every other single midfielder.
There are a lot of midfielders that are very good passers. Like even off the top of my head, talk about players like Toni Kroos, Paul Scholes, Mesut Ozil, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Cesc Fabregas. There are so many very good passers of the ball. But when I am looking at a player and I'm talking about passes, I don't look at it from a volume perspective. As in someone who is able to give 5-10 yard short passes and then they end up with about 500 passes in a game or 70-80 touches and then there's no incomplete. I am looking at passes that create chances, passes that come with ingenuity, and even just how the player executes the pass in terms of how the ball moves when the player kicks the ball, and how they get the ball in the right place for the oncoming winger or for whoever they are trying to get the ball to. And when it comes to that, the person I've seen do that absolutely beautifully. And anytime he delivers those kinds of passes, I am almost always wowed, even though I know he has that capability, is Bruno Fernandes. And if you've seen him, especially in those chance creation moments, when he was even playing, when United still had Martial and Rashford, there were so many balls that you wonder how he puts those balls in front of the runners. Like, sometimes you ask, did he look at him before? He has so much IQ when it comes to playing the ball, and the way the kind of bend he puts on the ball and the way he hits the ball, he's able to deliver it in the right spot, in the right place, to give the player the exact amount of chance he needs to get a shot off. So I think him and Paul Pogba as well, I've seen also deliver that kind of quality of pass, just not at the same frequency as Bruno Fernandes does. So I would go with Bruno Fernandes.
Going with Bruno Fernandes. Wagu, who is your pick?
See, this thing is hard. It's so tough. It's so tough. It's so tough. Because like Mangana said, that like you can look at it from so many perspectives. Like they are the connectors, right? So like someone like Xavi, yeah, he's a connector. You know, he keeps the game ticking. He's a good connector. There are people who are excellent passers from range. Pelo's one of such players. Alonso's one of such players. Paul Scholes is one of such players. And there are people who are extremely good behind the box, final third passes. So Mesut Ozil, Lionel Messi. Yeah. So when it comes to like behind the box, final third passes, two players come to mind: Mesut Ozil, Lionel Messi. So hard to think of a better passer than them. However,
so just pick one, please.
If I'm looking at it collectively, right, a player who can do it either ways, long, short, fast, slow. Listen, he didn't fulfill the promise that we thought he would. But Paul Labile Pogba,
yeah.
Paul Labile Pogba.
Absolutely dynamite passer.
Pogba. See, there's nothing Paul can't do. Nothing. Absolutely nothing Paul can't do.
Do you remember that World Cup pass he gave to Olivier Giroud? What a pass.
I'm torn between Paul Pogba and Kevin De Bruyne at this point.
Ooh, I even forgot about De Bruyne.
I'm actually torn between Paul Pogba and Kevin De Bruyne at this point, because Kevin De Bruyne also makes impossible passes.
Yeah. Yep.
Like impossible passes. Kevin De Bruyne made Sterling score 21 goals in the league.
You can imagine the number that he missed already.
All Sterling had to do was to run onto the ball. That's all Sterling had to do. He just had to run onto the ball. See,
I can help you out here.
You know what? For me, listen, my heart is Paul Pogba. My heart is 100% Paul Pogba, but my mind is Kevin De Bruyne.
I think Kevin De Bruyne did.
He did it more and he did it consistently. But when Pogba was on his day, my goodness, there was no stopping him.
Is the quintessential when they say an all-round midfielder, there are not many that you can say are all-round midfielder.
Complete. In fact, there has never been any midfielder more complete than Paul Pogba.
His ability on the ball, off the ball, like he has everything: physical ability, physical attributes. He has the height.
Paul,
for his stature, you wouldn't even think you have so much control of the ball, but he's so good on his feet. He's good in the air.
Physically
he has
strong.
Long range. Like there isn't that. The only thing was, if he could only keep his head down and fulfill he would have definitely been a Ballon d'Or player.
Yeah, he couldn't concentrate. He just couldn't focus. That's it. Like, he was a certified Ballon d'Or, but he never focused. For me, I think I'll go for Kevin De Bruyne. But like, the reason why I still want to go for Pogba is because Pogba can do it from anywhere on the pitch. Pogba can do it from his own half. Can do it from his own 18-yard box.
You remember there was a pass he gave Rashford. It was about a 40-yard pass from his half.
Wasn't it against Spurs? He controlled it. Wasn't even looking.
There was the one
wasn't
that he
even
gave,
looking.
Yes, there was the one that gave Spurs that was similar to what Cunha gave Mbeumo just last week.
He wasn't
but
even
there was
looking.
also one that he hit over the top, where Rashford just, like, over Rashford's shoulder, and all he had to do was just control it with the tip of his toe, brought it down, and then smacked the ball one time.
It's insane. Honestly, it's insane. And my heart is 100% Paul Pogba. He can hit it in any way: outside foot, inside foot, hit it on the turf.
Yep.
Anyway. So, like, see, let me cheat a little bit. Behind the box, I'm torn between Ozil and Lionel Messi. I'm probably going to go Lionel Messi because, Ankara Messi.
Yeah, Messi is always Messi. So that is from.
Yeah. No. Let me put it on record. My best passer ever. Let me put it on record before you guys, misconstrue what I'm saying.
Okay.
Listen, Kevin De Bruyne, 100%. Kevin De Bruyne.
All right. Kevin De Bruyne. Well, I am going to go for one particular name. You just mentioned character about Pogba and all that. You can mention all the names you can mention. Brilliant players all around, from Paul Scholes, Toni Kroos. You can talk about all the midfielders. You can talk about Michael Laudrup or whatever. But there's one person that I continuously see, or I have seen, and he appears to me every single time. There's a reason why I have a soft spot for Real Madrid. And there is no one who thinks, who leads, who plays with a free spirit, brilliant, spectacular, footballingly gifted, more than Jose Maria Gutierrez. Guti.
Guti Maria Guti is also a fantastic. He will break the line. He will find the.
I don't know if any one of you remembers. If any one of you remembers that unforgettable moment when he passed the ball with the back of his heel in front of the goalkeeper, so that Benzema could easily slot in the ball, or that flick to the box for Zidane to put it in the net. I think the Real Madrid team was so gifted with lots of world best, the Galacticos, that he wasn't really pronounced. But if you were talking about a player with, pronounced forward orientation, movement, he was so dynamic, into open spaces, outstanding technique. I think he was overlooked in, discussions about the great players of his generation, even to a point that, David Beckham with his name overshadowed him, all that. But Guti wasn't the player without vision. His creativity, his passing ability, second to none. That midfield brilliance is him I saw in, I think, a player like Cesc Fabregas at Arsenal. Guti was just phenomenal, and he was a key figure in Real Madrid's team. He won with them, his perfectly weighted passes, making him one of the very best that you could find in the Real Madrid team between the late 90s and then the early 2000s. 3 Champions League titles, 5 La Liga trophies. Guti, he's just excellent with shot and through pass abilities that I have never seen of any other player. Just like you said, you were torn between Messi and Ozil, but you go for Kevin De Bruyne. I was torn between looking at what Cesc Fabregas decided to do as a player for himself. Brilliant passer of the ball at Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona, the Spanish national team. Talk about the likes of, David Silva and their movement and all that. But for me, the best passer of the ball I have seen, I think I would always choose Jose Maria Gutierrez. Guti as my best passer of the ball I have.
And I don't even begrudge you for doing that. Calvin, honorable mentions. Mohammed Abu Treka, honorable mention. Another honorable mention is Richmond Lamptey.
Italy.
Yeah, honorable mention, Richmond Lamptey.
A visionary.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Jordan Opoku, please.
Hey, River.
The river that never stops flowing.
Yeah, forget.
That player was just, and please, the general, you live with him, go and look for him, Emmanuel Osei-Kuffour.
Emmanuel Osei-Kuffour was the best player ever to play the Ghana Premier League.
The player, what a passer of the ball. What a passer of the ball. Emmanuel Osei-Kuffour. So, yes, very, very, very honorable mentions. But in our current era in the Black Stars, who passes the ball better?
Thomas.
Yeah.
He's also going through.
The gap between Thomas and the rest. The gap between Thomas and the rest is crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like,
it's the reason why. It's the reason why we struggle.
I have a couple of shout outs.
Let's do it. Let's do it, bro.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I have a couple of shout outs. First one's going to Kenneth Peterson, who is down in Nashville, very avid listener since episode 1. I've just been spaced for so long that I've not been able to shout him out. We also have Ayele Chavez, who is also a very avid listener since episode 3. She said she had fallen out of love with football, but since she started listening to our pod, she's getting back into it, and she's been listening.
Please
ever
get
since
back. We'll need you on this episode.
Yeah. So we are building a very nice core of listenership and bringing in forgotten football fans. When one last person, Dr. Esiama as well, also another one who is joining the football fold.
All right. Okay. All right. Yes, Kwaku, would you have any mentions?
Calvin, I don't know who KG Markin is, but KG Markin left a comment on our pod, and KG Markin said they don't even like follow football. They're not football fans, but they just love hearing Kelvin's voice. So KG Markin, wherever you are, shout outs to you. Thank you for listening to our pod just to hear Kelvin's
Kelvin
voice.
should do that shout out. Let Kelvin do that shout out.
The name was KG Markin. I don't know who KG Markin is.
KG Markin. We'll look for the person.
Yeah, and shout out to Raul. Shout out to Raul in Italy. Yes. Shout out to him in Italy, in Bologna. And then shout out to Kelvin. Kelvin is Westline Oil and Gas Safety Officer in Takrady. Big listener of our pod.
All right, yes, so to other guys, troublesome guys, Nana Kofi Abebio. He is an auditor at Koforidia. There is Kwame Kansa Brobe. Turned Manchester United fan in UK. You know, he's a steward at Nottingham Forest. Yes, he's also been listening. To Kenneth Osumenu, another Manchester United fan. They love having your take, so you guys, yes, just that they won't come and write, but they'll listen and then they'll call me and then insult me when I laugh at you guys. But, you know, yes, Kenneth Osumenu, like, thank you. So Marcus Ochebafo, Marcus is also in Germany. And then Kojobani in Canada. Yes, Kojobani is also in Canada. Yeah, Moses and Tribune for PJ Mose, yes, who is with GNPC. Yes, he always listens and then, you know, gives us a thumbs up. And to each and everyone who makes sure, you know, we are live on your device and then sharing it with others. You know, surprisingly, a name you wouldn't expect to listen to the podcast just say, hey, Charlie, people are doing well. I was surprised. David Mensah.
Oh, really?
Bobby.
I'm like, hey, Bobby.
Us to Bobby.
I didn't even know he was in Accra, so yes, I'll catch up with him one of these days. So,
shout out to Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby. Thanks so much for also keeping us alive. Yes, so, yes, all too soon. We have come to the end of another brilliant show. We know Arsenal is winning on the weekend. Manchester United is drawing their game, and the rest will be your comments below this particular link. Engage with us. Let's have these conversations because that's how change happens. Absolutely. We want to hear from you what you think about everything we've said. You can also tell us who's your best passer. You could change the narrative and we could be coming next week bringing you on the show for you to tell us why your passer is better than all the names we have mentioned. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share this with your football-loving friends. You can find us on all major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all. So many options for you. And you can follow us on our social media at 5050 Football Pod for exclusive content and update. Don't forget the next episode. You need to keep it 50-50. Keep it balanced and keep loving the beautiful game with myself, Kelvin Oswansa, Kweku Safumensa, and Nana Asari. Peace.